So hey guys, what's up? So welcome to World News 20 News channel. So let's talk about pollution and pandemic. Health crisis has cleaned up air. It is globally community duty to carry that forward. The coronavirus pandemic and its fallout have had devastating effects in most parts of the world. The swift and aggressive globalization of the world has been stopped in its track. Industrial economies, supply chains, essential commodities, public health services, and various other activities have taken a serious hit because of the much needed governmental regulation to curb the spread of the COVID-19. A silver lining, though, has been the effect of the regulatory social distancing and the blanket lockdown of the industrial and service sectors on the environment. There are four main sources of the air pollution: stationary sources such as industries, power plants, and factories; mobile sources or vehicular transport; area sources such as agriculture, tracks, and cities; and natural sources, which include volcanoes, cyclones, and wildfires. The current lockdown seems to have snuffed out a lot of the first three sources. The industrial, tourism, and service sectors have been thought to a standstill. The effect of all this is apparent. For instance, the air quality index at Nanondwar, famous for being one of the most polluted regions in the Delhi due to the plethora of the industries in its vicinity, has come down from 229 dimed for about this time last year up to about 80, currently regarded as satisfactory. The difference is in fact much more when Anand Vihar's current AQI is compared to that in November last year. The region had recorded 447. Then there have been similar improvements in other parts of the country, the world. In fact, the natural question then is, why have governments not been able to enforce such environmental measures proactively? Why is the current situation a byproduct of the managing a pandemic? The most obvious and understandable answer would be that the lockdown was needed to bring down the fatalities caused by the pandemic. However, according to World Health Organization report, the combined effect of the ambient, outdoor, and household air pollution are responsible of 70 lakh deaths every year, largely as a result of the increased mortality caused by the heart diseases, chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases, lung cancer, and acute respiratory infections. Compare this to the about 50,000 deaths in the 3 months of the pandemic, about 2 lakh deaths a year. Via sample extrapolation, discounting other developments, that is less than 3% of the deaths caused by the air pollution alone. We have not even considered other sources of the pollution: water pollution, that is waste pollution, as well as displacement due to the glacier recession and climate change. The effort at reducing the social interaction and cutting down commercial activities has been almost on a global scale, and that has brought down pollution. This shows that positive actions by a handful of the countries or regions do not always improve the environment. Industries displaced from the environmentally regulated regions move to other regions. Of course, governments would be hard pressed to impose measures designed for an international pandemic to address environmental issues like air pollution. It is also not pragmatic to impose a blanket lockdown to address air pollution. Policy decision will have to balance socio-economic considerations with health imperatives. Intergenerational equity should be the thrust of such efforts. Under common law, the public trust doctrine is often evoked in cases of the large-scale environment harm. The doctrine presupposes by the government to be the custodian of the government, and its protection therefore is the responsibility of the government. However, during the current pandemic, the maximum stimulus, especially in the technology and service sectors, has come from the private sector. The government can consider the promoting the innovation in the private sector in matters pertaining to the environment. Individual sectors can be made custodians of the regions to curb the pollution. For instance, green indices of the companies can be made a factor in their market valuation. Similarly, instead of adding fuel carbon tax at the time of issuing flight tickets, the same could be added to the yearly tax returns to make a person aware of his higher carbon footprint. Some of his measures can be scaled globally within a short time. It has required a pandemic to clean up the environment. It is a global community duty to carry the task forward. So if you like the channel, so kindly subscribe to it.